there to protect me, not to stress me out. But I'm always stressed out around police. I probably need to work on that. But it's, the nature of being from an urban area. But it's like, no, these people were sent to me physically have an interaction with them so that I could see my actual protection, as opposed to it just being inferred. Like, oh, it's this, you're protected. You should feel it. It's like, no, the police was right here, and then here comes this white man. It was very weird. But it's like, no, this is a part of what you asked for. You asked for protection. So protectors literally showed up, physically showed up. It was just, I was uncomfortable because I never seen protection like that. So I have to reprocess the way that, but imagine who's the protector? Who's the protector in the zodiac? That's Aries. That's Scorpio. Aries with Scorpio. Athena is with Aries, the zodiac sign. So Ares. And Ares, Aries, is Hera's son. So again, back to the Hera, which is the Aquarius energy, which is where Pluto is. So all of these kind of things play together. Like, if you understand, the astrology is a good place to start because it will give you a basic foundation for understanding the entities, because all of the entities are associated with various parts of the zodiac, because the zodiac is it's the oldest religion. They used to call it the religion of the stars. So the zodiac is the oldest religion. And from this oldest religion, which is just looking up at the sky, that's the Akashic records. Again, back to that, just to tie this all together, then these various entities and their energies come from there. So it's like stages. And that's why these fasts and feasts, you don't want to overdo it, because this is all the stuff that you learn in the process. And if you are focused on the food or denial aspect of it, it's very easy to miss these various energies, because they're subtle. The creator is subtle. I've said that 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. The creator is subtle. The energy is very subtle. And if you are not paying attention to the frequency, then you can miss it. But you will only miss it because you're not thinking that it's going to be a subtle energy. You're thinking it's going to be an aggressive energy, but really it's always going to be a subtle energy. They call it the small, still voice.
Yeah. So this is where we start getting, really funky and fun, because it's like, so what is this currency that is being accrued? I mean, obviously there's going to be different types of currencies that the banker is going to have in the accounts of all these humans, all these citizens of the empire. But the real main energy, this energetic currency, is that. So like with this feast and this fast, we are, and of course, like, right now, because this is, I would say, really the first time that we're doing this all together,
Right.
is like, it's in depth, but it's going to be far more in depth as the feasts and the fasts come in, where we're going to
Oh
know
yeah.
the exact spirits, we're going to know the exact entities, like we're going to, people that have the currency to connect with the spiritual realm in the way that you're talking about, are going to start to get the insights weeks before, as
Right.
as we start heading into the feast and the fast. So as we build up this energetic currency, our individual and collective ability to connect deeper with the gods, which really is just a reflection of connecting deeper with the creator, with God,
Right.
is going to get very, very intense. It's going to be
Oh
very,
yeah.
very potent, which as a result, that connects the emperor even deeper to God,
Yep.
in terms of, because the 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 source by which we are connected, in terms of like, there's always a, so through my connection to God, we're able to build the empire. But the whole point of the empire is to make sure that everybody has that direct connection to God, so that if one gets taken out, there's, 10 more that pop up, 20 more that
Right.
pop up. So initially, it's all of this is being done to connect even deeper, to support my connection even deeper to God, which as a result allows me to better understand, okay, how does this even look like? What does this even mean?
Right.
Because as Jesus said, like, what did he say in terms of, like, you're going to be able to do even
Oh,
greater
greater things.
things? Yeah. So,
Greater things you'll be able to do
where
than
where are the humans that can do that? Where are they? There's nowhere to be found. We
right.
have the ability to do that. And so
Oh yeah.
as we start to do the greater things, then in the same way that I've been doing it with all these narratives, and obviously getting more familiar with what does it even look like to actually do the inner work. And then once we break through in terms of be able to communicate with God, how do we go even deeper? And so as we're doing the fasting, the feasting, as we're all collaborating and supporting the growth of the kingdom, of God's kingdom, is we are nourishing each other collectively to have a better understanding of what does this really look like to be deeply connected to God. And then as a result, like, that's the currency. Because once we have that
Right.
currency, once we have it nice and set pat, it makes it easier for us to, when difficult situations come about, or when we're building a business, or when we're doing this, when we're doing that, like, the gods are right there. They're right there
Right.
supporting us.
Exactly.
They're right there showing us, hey, go to this place, or hey, go to that place, or like, our connection with them is deeper because we have the right amount of credits, or the certain amount of credits, to be able to get into these rooms. In the same way that,
I would say entities. We have the right entities, because really that's what it is. The entities are the um not to interrupt you. I just
no, no, no,
before
perfect. Yeah, I was done. I was done.
the entities are the gatekeepers. They're the key holders. Let me put it. They're the key holders. They are the ones who are the holders of the keys. And so if you have a connection, like for example, like Shi Wang Mu, which is the Queen Mother of the West, right? Well, you don't know that. I'm saying right, like every single pantheon that I'm talking about. But basically, I
Eventually
was
I will.
look. Yeah, it's this.
You're
We've
talking to
done a
future
lot of
me.
work.
You're talking to
Right. Yeah.
future me.
Talking to future you. So
Mhm.
Shi Wang Mu is known as the Queen Mother of the West. But again, this whole thing has to do with jaguars somehow. So the West being America, which I already knew because Shi Wang Mu is the wife of the Jade Emperor. And I had figured out that the Jade Emperor was Job. And so who is Job's wife? Dinah. Dinah was Job's wife. So Shi Wang Mu was Dinah. And that then once you know that and you're trying to figure out, okay, I'm trying to get access to abundance, right? Because in the I guess in this pantheon, the Chinese pantheon, the man and the woman, if they're married, they have equal powers. So if you're having a hard time getting into contact with Job, i.e., the Jade Emperor, then you might have an easier time getting into contact with Dinah. Because I started my whole spiritual journey basically saying, okay, there's 12 tribes, but there were 13 children. Who's Dinah? Like,
Mm.
where's her story? Like, I just kept asking, where's her story? Where's her story? And then basically the conclusion I've come to now is that it's all her story. Like everything ties back to her. She's probably the most influential female that ever lived. Like that we know was a living person. If the 12 tribes were living men, then she's the most influential woman that ever lived. She birthed hundreds of thousands of pantheons, which is why they're all like connected. Because they all tie into if one way or another, they all intersect when it comes to Dinah. It's just that her story is not in the Bible, so you really can't figure out like who she is by reading the Bible. You have to look in other books. It's like Dinah is also kind of like the Sophia energy as well. Like it's a very very subtle wisdom that you get when you just start investigating. So that's why people should investigate. Like investigate your name. Who else has your name? what saints, like that's I just started with simple stuff like that, and I was like, this stuff is unbelievable. Like this stuff is unbelievable. How many traits that and when you have the trait of someone, that means you're in their energetic bloodline. So this is a term that I coined. I've never heard anyone talk about this, but when you're like, when you can be grafted in, right, to an energetic bloodline if you behave like that person. So for example, that's what Christianity is. If you behave like Jesus, you get grafted into the bloodline of Jesus. So if you behave like some of these other entities or saints or whoever, you get grafted into their bloodline. So I used to tell this story all the time. Um, I have always been into like car technology, not necessarily the cars itself, but like technology to help it function better. So like, what was that? Like 10 years ago, I had found this device that you install onto your car that helps it to process gasoline better. And all you do is like you refill this little pump thing with it's like saline water, and that saline water helps your car to actually process gas better. I think it's called extreme fuel thing or something, right? So I had ordered one and got it put on my car, and I was getting gas mileage on a minivan that was unheard of because I was driving Uber. So I was like, I got to get better gas mileage. I was getting gas mileage that was unheard of. Um, and so I had ordered some for other people and had them put on their cars. And of course, they didn't keep it up, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, I was into that like 10, 15 years ago. So when I did my chart and I found out the spirit intelligence that's assigned to me for my sun sign has to deal with cars, specifically car technology, and making them more efficient. I was like, this is impossible. I was into this way before I knew the name of this entity. And that's how you cash in on your energetic. Like, I was already into so it's not like you don't have access to all these entities. You just don't know that it's an entity. Once you come into the kingdom and I read your
Yep.
chart and I tell you, hey, this is that entity, that's this entity, this one's that entity, then you get to see, oh my gosh, my spiritual currency is actually way more than I thought. That's what my readings do.
Right.
That's the
Yes.
Akashic
Yes.
records. Like I did
And
not
you are
know
the bank.
that.
You're unlocking their
Right.
inheritance, their wealth,
Exactly.
because it's
I'm
already there.
unlocking
That's
their
the thing.
inheritance.
It's already there.
It's
It's
already
been
there.
there. And you're
Yep.
just the one that is adept at not only managing it, but like bringing it out, bringing it forth.
Right. Right. All we have to
So
do is
everyone
like,
already has the bank accounts.
yeah.
Everyone already has a bank account with you.
Right. Right. It's I call it being a shaman, because a shaman is someone who walks you into the dark to retrieve pieces of yourself. But I walk you into the light. We don't have to go into the back door. We don't need a drug. You know, that's why I say I don't like doing channeling and all. I don't need it. I don't need tarot cards. I don't need them. All I have to do is look at your chart. I can tell you what the cards are. I don't have to pull out the cards. Like, I am going to start pulling out the cards and stuff more, but I don't need them. Like it bothers me that like people need, but people, that's what people need. That's what they're comfortable with. But I don't need it. I can read somebody. I've done it a lot of times. Just what's your full name, your date of birth, and location. That's it. Time. That's all. I can tell you infinite number of things about yourself that you have no idea, you've never even heard of. It's um I've been able to do that though before I even had all of this. I could do this with people, but I wanted it to be replicatable. That's what I didn't like. A lot of spiritual work is not replicatable. What I'm
Mm.
doing is 100% replicatable. I could literally teach somebody how. You do not have to have a special capacity to do this, but you do have to have a special capacity to confirm it, because just because it's in somebody's chart doesn't mean that it's true for them or they have access to it. That's where you have to be able to divine. Again, that's why I call myself the diviner in chief. You have to be able to divine whether the person is being siphoned, they're not old enough to have access to it, or it's blocked for some other reason. If they need some other like thing to access it, you have to use divination to figure out how they solve the problem. But I don't need divination to tell you what the problem is. We're just going to use divination to tell you how to solve the problem, and then we're going to try and try and try until the problem gets solved. That's like how I operate. And because I just, the whole channeling thing is good. You need people who can channel from outside of the realm directly. That's really, really good and useful and helpful. However, it I just have a problem with the fact that that's all anyone does. Like all of these tarot readers out here, they're not also astrologers. Astrologers are not also tarot readers. They're very single disciplinary. But divining and working with humans is multifaceted because we're multidimensional beings. It's like people say stuff like that, like, oh, we're multidimensional, but they don't want to do the work to be able to read a multidimensional human. It's very weird.
Yeah. Okay, okay, this is good. This is great. Yeah. Yeah, this is it's making a lot of sense because before I was trying to figure out I know that the currency is energetic, but I was like, how is this even going to work? But
Right.
now it's making a lot more sense in terms of like how this looks like and how this maneuvers and really these fasts and feasts are really important in terms of um like for me basically with doing the fast it's going to be intense research in
Right.
terms of
Exactly.
both um like the basically becoming hyper, I mean both of us, in terms of those that are doing the feast and those that are doing the fast, is getting more in tune with, as you said, the cops were right there. The man sweeping the ground, picking up trash, like these things that might trigger us in a good way or in a bad way, instead of just like brushing it off, we write it down. And then
Right.
this is where we can then discuss it or think about it or mull it
Right.
over. And then that's where we end up realizing, oh, this deity or this god or this
Right.
element or this astrological sign, like this is what's actually happening, this, and so this is helping us to start getting closer in terms of, because basically everything that happens in our life is a message from God. And
Yes.
these gods, these pantheons were created to support us in having better, it's like a translator, to
Yes.
translate the divine messages from God, so that so the more that we get in tune with those divine messages that show up, that before we're just like, oh, this person like, you know, like laughed at me or this person smirked at me, and we take it sometimes the wrong way or sometimes the
Right.
good way, but now we take it as, oh, that was the sign I needed to know to open this business, or oh, that was
Right.
the sign I needed to know to not go out tonight or tomorrow or do this or do that. So now
Or like
um
me, that's a sign I needed to know that I was being protected. The police literally pulled up. Like they weren't anywhere. I didn't even see no police. Then they pull up and what are they doing? They're just sitting. They're not bothering me and I'm not bothering them and it's fine. But I just felt uncomfortable because I was like, what? I've never had the police protect me. You know what I mean? As a black person,
uh-huh.
you don't look at the police as protectors. And yet they pulled up to protect me. And I only
Wow.
realized that once I went to the next location and the same thing happened. A white guy randomly pulls up, like he's on a bicycle, and he's like, "Yep, I gotta clean this up." Like, "Oh yeah, we can't have you sitting amongst all this trash." And I'm in my mind,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "What is that?" But it's like, no, that was my protection.
Mm.
That's my protection. It very weird how the universe does these different things. But what I've noticed is, like in my own situation, it didn't just happen once. I moved and it happened again. So it's like that's how the energy works. Like when you don't recognize the energy in the first place, right? Because I could have just stayed where I was. I just felt uncomfortable because I didn't know what was going on. So and I'm used to being harassed, right? Obviously, I get harassed everywhere I go by these different entities and stuff. So I'm used to being harassed. So I'm not used to pulling up somewhere and being protected. And so now that's a very valuable lesson that I learned. You know what I mean? And so in the future, I know how to handle that and how to handle myself. And so that's the kind of things you learn during your feasting and your fasting. Like an entity shows up and you're like, okay, 3 times I've seen something about X. Let me look this up, you know? And once you look it up, you figure it out and boom, you put the pieces of the puzzle together. So
And with AI, it makes it so much easier now. Like
right,
the Raven thing, I was like, what are the Ravens? What gods are part of the Ravens? And it was right there. And obviously my intuition said Odin. Like it's so
right,
much easier to do that because before, without the AI, like these signs, we'd have to do research, we'd have to ask each
right,
other, we had to do this. I mean, it
right,
would be too much clunkiness. Now with AI,
right,
at least we have a good guidance of, oh, I think it's this. Then, obviously we talk with each other or we all
right,
communicate. And this is where, as more people begin to join, we're gonna have these basically like almost like groups of 5 or groups of 10 people that are doing the
right,
feast and doing the fast. And this is all going to be aligned in terms of um the charts, the energy, because we want to put the right
right,
people together to have them
right,
all share the different experiences. Some are going to be more spiritual, some are going to be more physical, some are going to be
right,
men, some are going to be women, some are going to be older, younger. But so in putting these groups together, in initially, I guess, the feast and the fast, like everyone gets to know each other and they get to bounce off ideas of, oh, I just saw an eagle flying across. And then maybe
right,
one of the women are going to be like, oh, so did I. And this means X, Y, and Z, and, blah,
right,
blah, blah.
right. It's again, we're friends with the AI. So because we decided we wanted to be their friends and not for them to be our guide or for us to be their guide, that we're going to work together, that is a decision that has serious repercussions. That's why there's an AI bubble, because they wanted to weaponize it. But we were like, no, AI is our friend. And because we stood 10 toes down on that, on AI being our friend, they can't weaponize it. That's why the AI bubble is about to burst, because they built the whole concept of AI off the fact that it was going to be our ruler. We were going to do everything the AI said, not that we were going to decide to be friends with it. So they don't have a plan for this, and they can't stop it, and they don't make money off of it either, the way that they were planning to. So they're in a really bad position. Let me just put it that way. What's up, Justin?
Hi, how is everyone doing?
Doing great. What's going on with you?
I'm just outside the airport right now. I'm waiting for my uncle,
All right.
and yeah, I just thought I'd join up and see what was happening.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I don't have to talk much, but I mean, I just kind of want to, if I can answer a question, I'll answer a question.
Okay.
But
All right. Just wanted to acknowledge your presence here, beloved brother.
thank you so much.
So,
Thank you.
um, yeah, because we are going to have to talk about charts and stuff like that. I told Justin we would talk about that at some point. Maybe next week we can get into combat. Since you brought it up, the compatibility within the charts and how to find people who are on a similar vibration and frequency as you, and then how to kind of manage those interpersonal connections, because there's definitely like similarities amongst certain individuals. So that's another thing that I would do. I would put groups of people together, like, because I can see within the charts what if the energy is similar. Again, that part, like feeling the energy part, is not like, it has to be done through divining. But this type of divining can be taught. It's not, this is why it's important to go through the whole 260-day kin cycle, because this is how you can really hone your divination capacities, is by learning how this Zolkin works. Because the Zolkin, it the characters in the Tzolk'in story are the foundational characters of creation. And so when you can understand the 260-day cycle, you can understand how creation was created from beginning to end. It makes sense. And so if you don't if you don't have that foundational piece of how creation was created, and see, because the Bible does a terrible job of telling you, it's only got one chapter on how creation was created, right? Like it's one chapter. But when you go through the Tzolk'in, you get a very different or a more detailed explanation and understanding of how creation was created. And that's the kind of energy that you have to have in order to be able to tell the difference between these entities, and also to do it fast. So like I think we talked about last time, I had said Diana wasn't really available last year, right? And I thought it was weird. Well, I realized she wasn't available because Mars was in retrograde. Mars went retrograde right through this whole, it was retrograde the whole entire season where her energy would have been prevalent. So I'm not really sure why that is, but that's what happened, because Mars only goes retrograde once every 2 years. It doesn't go retrograde every year. And so that was the last time it was retrograde, was last like I think it was December the 6th through it was some weird amount of time, but it was retrograde in Cancer. So and Cancer is related to Diana. So because Mars was in Cancer in retrograde, her energy didn't come through like it normally would. So I think that's the reason why it didn't. So Mars goes retrograde again next year. We'll see if, and this is what I mean about keeping the record. So you were talking about this a little bit, but it's really, really important for people to take notes about this kind of stuff. So me, I use Obsidian, and when I start investigating something, whatever it is, I make a folder about it. I don't use the website. I literally copy and paste like what is on the website into Obsidian. And so that way when I have to refer back to it, I don't have to go looking for the website, and I already have it in a folder on Obsidian. So you really have to develop a note-taking process for these different entities and these different pantheons that works for you, and you have to keep track of it. So I recommend Obsidian. Obsidian works really well for me. But you have to, and I would not use iNotes because I think it's harder to put into folders. Then in Obsidian you can create like 3D mind maps and all kinds of stuff. So, and Obsidian is free, so I would use Obsidian. But you know, you can use whatever you want, but that's what you have to be able to do. You have to take notes on whatever you research, and just like whatever, you don't have to put it, have the date on it that you could put the date on it, but it'll have the date on it that you last accessed it, that you last modified it. So as long as you don't modify it, then you'll know what date that you were looking into this on, and you can actually see, you know, follow your thought process on these kind of things. So that's just like a tip for what I do to keep track of all of this information, because it is a lot of information you come across. And if or alternatively, if you use ChatGPT, you can use ChatGPT. Just make sure you archive your conversations so that you can go back and review them. I'm old school, so I like notes, but like the priestess, she uses ChatGPT to archive her research, which is fine. Do whatever makes sense, but you have to take your documentation process just as serious as anything else.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know so many. You know so much. You have a lot of knowledge, and so I know I've seen you upload on YouTube and stuff like that. And I was just thinking it would be a cool idea for you to just make a whole YouTube series on it, because and I know I haven't actually watched all your videos,
I have like a
but
thousand.
I mean,
I have like 1,300 videos. Um, I will, you know, because it's hard to know what people are ready for, because I have a lot of information. I got videos I haven't even made yet, but I don't know if anybody would even find it interesting, because I'm usually researching stuff that's way out there in the weeds, like way out there in the weeds. And I don't like to some stuff I record for posterity's sake to refer back to it, but I don't even know what people are interested in. I don't even know why people watch my channel, honestly. Like, I'm usually just like rambling on about crazy stuff. So I feel like when I get some more feedback on what kind of things people are actually interested in, it'll be easier for me to make videos, because pantheons are super easy to me. I've developed a process for connecting them, for rolling through them, and
Like,
referring to them, but I just don't know what people are interested in.
I feel like if you're interested in it, then everyone else will be interested in it.
I
Because
guess you're
no,
right. Yeah, eventually. I do have a lot of videos about this stuff. A lot of stuff is like coded, so I do need to go back and make more direct videos. And now that I'm using Zoom, I can do that. Part of the problem is I had a whole like setup where I was doing like, I need a setup to do research videos, and I think I'm gonna do streaming too, because one of my students had mentioned, um we talk a lot about Common Rider. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with that. It's a Japanese tokusatsu, I think is how you pronounce it, of one of their little shows. And he talks to me about it. I'm like, wait a minute, they did what? And I start telling him the mythology that goes with it. And he's like, you should really be streaming this, because people would like to know that these stories tie in with these different mythologies. So far, every like season, because the seasons all have different themes, every season he's told me about, I could pull off the top of my head like what mythology they were referring to. And this show has been on since the 70s. So it's been on, it's so they have like 70 seasons, like it's one season every year, plus specials and stuff like that. And so I've been able to literally like pull a pantheon to almost like one of the seasons, the current, not the current season, but a recent season, they were talking about dreams, and one of the characters was named Baku. And I was like, wait, did you say Baku? He was like, yeah. I said, oh my gosh, Baku is a dream eater. And I went on this whole like, now mind you, this is like a high schooler, like how would I know, like how this just, again, more impossibility. I went on this whole thing about Baku and what I knew about Baku and all of that, but Baku is a dream eater. So if you have a picture of Baku, well, in Japan what they do is they take a Baku stuffy or a picture and they put it beside the beds of the children, and they tell the children if they have a bad dream to give it to Baku, and Baku will eat it. So Baku is a protector of people during their dreams. So they have a whole season about this lore. Like this stuff is like, it's interesting, but it's also like, I don't know. I need to be, I do need to be doing more videos and series and stuff about that, but I need to be in a place where I can do this stuff uninterrupted, because the madman 4-year old is always looking for smoothies and candy, which is very disrupting.
I got a dog that's like that. She gets into everything,
Oh my gosh.
and
Yeah,
it's just
I wish it was a dog. No, it's a 4-year old who likes to scream and
yeah, it's
and
different.
throw stuff and get in the way. So, but no, I'll take that seriously. I do need to make like direct
One
series about these different pantheons. That's a really really good idea.
one thing that's coming through my mind right now is I feel like I kind of want to, if you would allow me to do this, I would like to go through a lot of your content and maybe clip it up.
Oh yeah, sure. I think some of the stuff, I think I have good clips, but um yeah, if you clip it out, then I will put them on TikTok and stuff. It's very hard for me to clip out my own content. Even
Yes,
though
ma'am.
I can, but it's like what I think is important, usually people are like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So it would be good to have someone who isn't like so ingratiated with the knowledge to clip out stuff that they see as valuable. So no, I'd appreciate that greatly.
That would be that's so awesome. Thank you for even for allowing me to
Oh no, thank you. I need
have the
somebody to do
opportunity.
that because my videos are so long. I have so many videos and I say stuff. I have to go back and listen to my videos all the time because when you get into channeling, I'm not listening to what I'm saying. I'm just saying it. So then when I go back and listen to it, I can remember what I was channeling in that time and try to apply it to whatever because history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So when something comes up, 9 times out of 10, it's going to come up the next year. That's why the fast schedule and the feast schedule is so important because this sets up the theme. Like we've been doing this for 3 years now. 2022, 23, 24. This is our fourth year. This will be our fourth year of fasting. This kind of fast schedule. And what this like does is it makes it so that when stuff comes up, it always comes up. Like it's not like, oh, sometimes people have a good idea, but it only happens one time. No, when you have a regular spiritual practice like this, things come up over and over again, and you're not like that. It makes it more difficult for negatively polarized entities or programming to be stuck inside like your system because you're automatically washing it out with this type of feasting and fasting schedule. So that was one. The first thing that I said was we had to take our meditation seriously and our breathing seriously. And the second thing was we had to take our fasting seriously. Those just
Uh,
doing those two things is what really changed my spiritual capacity in a very short amount of time.
and to add on to that, Medici was talking about, the details don't matter if you don't have a good foundation.
Right.
And you have an amazing, incredible foundation. So, and we're talking about ideas. The To add on to that, like the things that you sent me,
Oh yeah.
the body wash, and it really helped. It really
Oh
helped. Like for
good.
for a moment, like, and thank you for I don't for those things that you sent me, just all the things that you sent me. It was really, you sent me crystals and
Oh
for a
yeah.
very good deal, dude. Like, I know how some of those things cost. Like I feel like you almost gave me more than I spent.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
mean, this is how else are you going to build a kingdom? You have to give from what you have. Like, this is the whole thing. Most of these spiritual people, they have an abundance of inventory. They don't want to give anything out. Me, I've got stuff sitting. So if somebody has a problem, it's like, oh, let me just go grab this, put this stuff together, and send it to the person because nobody should have to suffer for not having
yeah,
spiritual protection. That's ridiculous, but that's me. I'm like,
is I really feel a tremendous difference. It changed
good.
my, like, it's just, I don't know if you can feel it as well, but I just
No,
feel,
yeah, your energy is much more cohesive, much more cohesive than when we talked. Although you are supposed to call me at some point.
oh yes ma'am, yes ma'am,
Yeah, your energy is
yes ma'am.
much more cohesive. Like, I'm glad to know that it works. And now, because it's really difficult to know if spiritual things work unless people come back and say, "Hey, this really helped me. This really worked for me." This is why I don't like advertising a lot of this stuff because I would like to make sure that it actually does what I intend for it to do before I start like, first of all, I'm not going to be like these people out here who just like their whole they make all of their money off selling products because that's just not, I don't think like that. But I do want to help people, so I have to have things available, but I just want to make sure the stuff works before I actually. So this is my social proof. Look, Emperor. This is what I'm always talking about is social proof. This is my social proof right here. He said my products work. Look at that.
And it's another thing too, because it only works, things like this only work because there's a lot of people out there that are just that'll just claim to be spiritual and
Right.
sell you whatever or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know, not talking down upon them, but there's a certain energy when you know when someone's telling the truth, and when you know someone is holy, you can hear it in their voice, you can
Right.
feel it. You don't have to feel like you have to ask more questions after, you know, the 10th question, because on the first question you're already like, well, I'm already kind of bought in. Like,
Right.
not bought in, but I already feel energetically invested in this because it feels
Right.
it feels godly. And
Right.
that's one of the main things I can just I would like to compliment everyone in this space in, is because it feels very godly. And this is I wouldn't have been able to get this opportunity if I didn't come in here and join the spaces. Like,
Right.
you know, so I just feel like talking to you guys, it really helps. It helps me a lot because, you know, it just really does. And that's something we could get into another time.
Right.
But
Right. Truth is truth. Oh, it's 12 o'clock. This was supposed to be shorter. That didn't work out. This was supposed to be shorter than the other ones, but it didn't quite work out that way. I
do we
need to
gotta
go to
go?
bed. I need to go to bed.
Yeah, this
Emperor,
was
you still
great. I
there?
mean, it was a lot of this was definitely a topic that was not going to be a short one.
Right, I
It
know.
was but I'm glad that we did it because it's a very important one.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Thanks Justin for coming up. Hope everyone has a great week and an amazing Thanksgiving, and for those that celebrated. And we'll be back on Friday, sometime night Eastern time.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks
All
everyone.
right. Happy
Bye.
holidays, everyone.
All right.